On down, the conversation coach here, standing outside John Hancock Hall out in the Back Bay area, where in about 20 minutes one of my clients, Coco Meow, will take center stage in the 2015 Miss Asia pageant for ATV something East Coast, whatever. Anyway, let's go inside, check it out, let's see what's going on. Now, one of the most important things to keep in mind is to practice in the venue itself. This is kind of a larger auditorium, but not too big. I know Coco spent several hours each weekend practicing here, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how she does on stage. So contestant number 1 came out to some huge pop. I'm not sure that's because of her being first or if she actually had a lot of fan support. One thing that I did notice was her pacing was a little off. I didn't time how long she spoke, but it felt like she was going over her time limit. Another thing that I noticed with her English portion of her speech, had trouble with the L's. Normally we can forgive something like this, but when you use hard L sentences, I love my life, it's going to be really noticeable. Contestant number 2 came out with better pacing, but she did seem a little bit tense. And then contestant number 3, Coco.
大家好，我是3号选手苗红英，现在就读于东北大学。来自北京的我，对钢琴、游泳、茶艺、插花都有着浓厚的兴趣。
One of the things that we worked on in our sessions before was having that professional voice, that professional air. Don't sound too formal, but don't sound too casual. You gotta be better than your normal self. I don't speak Chinese, but man, she nailed that cadence. The tone of her voice was much more elevated. It definitely gave the impression that she felt comfortable on stage, that she's been doing these types of things before.
希望大家可以支持我，谢谢。 I'm contestant number 3, Coco from Beijing.
And then with that English transition, when you're following another speaker, it's really easy to fall into their cadence. And the 2 previous speakers, they had a little bit rougher English, and at the beginning, Coco started to fall into that same type of rhythm. But luckily, at the end, she recovered. She had much better pacing.
Thank you for supporting me. Thanks.
Contestant number 4, she had pretty good English pronunciation, but she took really strong breaths in between. That's a result of having to rush through all your information. You want to be quick-paced, but having to gasp for breath in between each sentence, that's not a good thing. Other possible threats I noticed at this point, number 7 had pretty good English. Number 10, she had a lot of personality. She was kind of rough. Is that a pro or a con at this point? I really can't say. Why in the swimsuit? I don't know. This is usually the part of a beauty pageant that goes viral because they ask really tough questions.
It's the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, and we have an African-American president. Yet minorities still have disproportionately low incomes and disproportionately high unemployment and incarceration rates. What should our nation do to address this issue?
TV host Julie Chen revealed that when she was starting out, for career reasons, she had plastic surgery to make her eyes appear less Asian. What message does this send to young women?
According to a poll released this week, Donald Trump is leading Republican candidates by 32% of the votes. Why do you think he's leading by such an overwhelming margin?
Why do we do this? Why do we need to test them to this level and you have such a short amount of time? The biggest trick to any one of these questions is you got to keep composure. You got to express something that's not too fantastical, but not something that's too hard-grained and realistic. You have to have a little bit of creativity to something that is indeed possible.
So the question for contestant number 3 is, how do you define success?
Coco would go on to say something about living your dreams. I think there was something lost in the translation, and I do blame the host for not being able to translate the girl's answers properly. But overall, not bad. Some of my personal favorites here. Contestant number 5, which disease would you get rid of? Contestant number 5 says, people born with disabilities. Now, I'm pretty sure, again, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Probably some error in translation because of the host. What she probably meant to say was, I want to get rid of disabilities in general so people don't get born with them. Here's a good one. She's asked, how do you define inner beauty? Her answer is, when you have no outer beauty. She goes on to share some story about seeing a homeless person who had absolutely nothing, and in a way that was beautiful. It's a really hard sell. I think even if you have the best speaker in that position, because of the time constraint, you really don't have enough opportunity to sell it. Contestant number 7, she's given a super cliche question. Can money buy happiness? But I'm going to give her props for having the most calm and composed answer. Bing. Top 5. At this point, they're narrowing down the top 10 to a top 5. They're also giving runner-up places, or they have these weird awards where I'm not really sure what they're looking for when they qualify them, because the host didn't explain them either. You have Miss Friendship, Best Presenter. What do? They call Coco for Best Figure. I don't know if this is the kiss of death. If you get one of these awards, does that automatically take you out of the top 5? Luckily, Coco gets third call. At this point in the pageant, I'm really starting to draw parallels between this and bodybuilding and physique shows. Part of it is your presence standing on stage. And this late into the program, a lot of people are going to get fatigued. But Coco, she's as calm and poised as ever. Final awards. So in the final call here, I have no idea where all the other contestants are in the judges' rankings. Contestant number 1 had that huge pop at the beginning. In the talent showcase, she showed that she knew Kung Fu, she knew how to use a sword, she also could play this flute thing. She's a runner-up. Strong contestant out. Then they picked contestant number 2. Only thing I remember about her was she wasn't as long-winded in speaking as contestant number 1, and she was also really tall. So they knocked out the 2 tall chicks. Where does that leave Coco?
2015 ATV Miss Asian pageant winner is
3!
Alice!
Thank you. Welcome number 3.
Yes!
Yeah, Coco! Woo! Go, Coco!
Winning the 2015 ATV Miss Asia pageant in Boston qualifies her to participate in New York, so that's her very next step. We'll see how she does. If you guys want to congratulate Coco, follow her on Instagram, Coco_meowme.
Thank you. I'm appreciated.
Calm down, let's talk and win some beauty pageants.